What is good, everybody? Thank you guys so much for getting me to 500 subs on the channel. I really appreciate that. I know I've been gone for a while and I haven't posted. I just been busy with life, you know, moving to a new area, new city, getting a new job. I haven't had time to post, but it's a summer, man. We back at it, you feel me? So just for a token of appreciation for you guys, man, I'm making a little slight tutorial for y'all to learn how to song edit in FL Studio. So step one when it comes to song editing is basically find the song that you want to edit, obviously, right? You want to get your song. So we're going to be using this song right here, which is Mine by One and Only. So if you didn't know how I got that onto the playlist, basically I just go into my folder and I take the sound or the song and I just drag it onto the playlist like so, like that. Or you can click this to bring up the channel rack and click the sampler, click the folder, and then you can access the song that you want to use that way. Now we're gonna get on to step two, which is basically finding the tempo of the song and then syncing it to the FL Studio project. So the easiest way to do this is to click the song in the channel rack, go to the sound waveforms, right click, then click edit in audio editor. This is going to bring up Edison, and this is basically how we start finding the tempo of the song. So the first thing I like to do personally, just to find the tempo a lot more easier, is to get rid of all the white noise. As you can see here, there's a little bit of white noise on the end of the song, and that can kind of mess up the reading of the tempo of the song. So what I like to do is take that white noise out off the rip. So an easy button to do that in Edison is this button right here, which is to trim the side noise. So once I click that, as you can see, it just removes all the extra white noise that is in the song. And after you do that part, you can now actually find the tempo. So basically we go to this marker right here, we click it, then we go down to detect beats. Then that basically processes the beats / tempo of the song, and then it will tell you about the estimated tempo that it thinks that it is. Most of the time this is right, but there are some cases where this will be dead wrong and you might have to manually just guess the tempo or just figure it out for yourself. But once you do that, you just take this right here to drag the file over into the sampler. Now basically just replace the old file and just have the edited file with the beats on it. All right, now if I recall, the tempo that it said it was 131, but to go check again, you can always go back to Edison by clicking this mixer tab and then going to the master track. Whenever you open a song and you go to edit audio, it'll open the Edison on the master track. So keep that in mind so you can always go back to it if you didn't remember what you did. So I'll just click the Edison to bring it back up. And yes, the tempo is 131.239, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about the decimal points too much. As long as you get the whole number, it's most likely going to be good enough. So once you do that, you want to go up here to where you can adjust the tempo of the project and turn it to 131 to match the tempo of the song. But don't just play the song. The only way we can know if the tempo is actually correct is by turning on the metronome, which is the button right next to the tempo right here. Or you can do Control M for a shortcut.
Like fuck that, bitch, fuck that. Getting bad, so bitch, you can't touch that. Wish I was never fucking know. Would you trust back? 4-5 strap my lap and I bust that.
All right, so that tempo seems to be about right. I don't think I need to mess with that at all. So we finally got the tempo down. And then once you get that down, you can unload the regions so you don't get those little white ticks on the song, but it doesn't really matter. You can keep them on if you want. Now for step three, what I usually like to do is rearrange the song to my liking, but just for this tutorial, we're just gonna keep it very, very simple. I'm only gonna edit maybe like the first 20 seconds of the song so you guys can see what I do. So basically, like I said, I'll just listen to the song. I can already tell that this intro is very long, so I'll just cut the beginning part and I'll just delete this and drag it over. Then I know from that, I know that the main part of the song or the pre-chorus comes right there. So that's where we're going to be making chops so we can do little edits. And I know this is the hook right here. All chopped there. So this is going to be an example of showing 2 edits for the pre-chorus. And then this is just the intro that you will touch on really quick. So once you're here, what I like to do for my edits is to always keep them on grid. So if you're going to do an edit, what I usually suggest is keep it within a bar. So a bar in FL Studio is from a number to another number. That's 1 bar. But not in rapping terms, it's just in FL Studio terms. So what I like to do is either make an edit from 1 bar, 2 bars, or 4 bars. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm only gonna be doing 2 bars, but you could do more if you want it. I'm just gonna show you the basic rundown of how I do it in most of my edits. So for this part of the pre-chorus, just like this.
For a minute, needed more time for the little fucking fish. Just forget about the past, don't care about feelings, but now I'm getting rest. My car, no limits.
So I'm gonna make edits to this section right here, from here to here. Then I'm gonna also do that for this side of the pre-chorus. So I'm gonna have 2 edits in this demonstration, and edit of what I do for the intro of this part. Once you chop that up to get the song to your liking, you want to move on to step 4. And basically for step 4, we're going to be making these cuts into unique samples so that they can be used to make special effects just for those samples. What you want to do is go to your first sample. You want to right click at the top of here and click make as unique sample. Then save it somewhere on your computer. So basically what this does is it unmarries the sample that you cut and it makes it its own sample so you can put its own effects and, you know, stuff like that. Then after you do that, you want to link it to the mixer track. So the mixer track can be found here. Then you want to link it to a mixer channel. You can either go to the sampler by clicking it and using the scroll wheel to go to a mixer track, or you can just click the mixer track and do Control L. And I will just put the sample in the mixer track and it will give us its name that it had. All right, now once you do that, this is where we can start putting effects on the sample. So what I like to do is highlight the sample and then I go to the effects right here. And for this one, I'll just put a basic fruity reverb on it. So this is what it sounds like with the reverb. I'll mess around with the settings a bit to make it a little bit different. And that's how you make a basic simple reverb effect for it. But for this tutorial, I'm gonna do 3 effects on each so it can be a little bit more variety. So I'm gonna put a high pass on it. And I'll use one more effect, which will be a regular delay, a fruity delay. So, and now you have this. We play from the beginning of the pre-chorus. See, and right there, you already basically have all the tools you need to make a song edit if you just do that. But what I like to do to make it a lot more smooth is use automation clips. So how automation clips works is whatever parameter in FL Studio that you make into an automation clip, you can change it with the automation clip. If I highlight this selected sample that I edited and I go into Reverb 2 and I wanted to do an effect where the wetness goes down and then comes back up, I will need an automation clip for that. And how we do that for parameters inside plugins is we move the parameter, then we go to add, then we go to automate for last tweak parameter. So this now is an automation clip that can control the wet knob of the reverb. And basically how do you add more points to this so it's not just 2 points, is you right click. So now I can add a point to make the wetness go up, then I can make one to go down and go up again. This is just a basic overview of how automation clips work. It's a lot more advanced stuff you can do, but I'm not gonna go over that in this tutorial because that can be its own video. And then once we do stuff like that, you can then make a automation clip for the whole plugin so it's transitioned smoothly from not having an effect to having an effect. So what I do is I'll go to the full plugin, I'll click it, right click, and then click automation clip. And what I like to do is I'll make a gradual increase in the effect. So I won't have it just come in just straight effect. I'll have it be silent at first or have no effect, then gradually crescendo into the effect and then decrescendo out before it goes back to a section of the song that doesn't have an effect. So it'll look something like this. It'll be like a little hill or whatever you want to call it, and it has a drop. So this is what it sounds like. I usually do this for all the plugins. Sorry to make that clarification. Yeah, you want to do it for all of them because you don't want to have one effect working and then others off. You want to have them all synchronized. And there you have it. I just showed you guys how to make a simple effect on a song. And I even showed you guys how to make an effect, have an automation clip for a parameter inside the plugin and also the plugin itself. And now that I showed you guys that, I'm just gonna make a basic effect for this one. And this is what this sounds like. That's what you get. and then you create automation clips for all 3 of them. And depending on how steep or how wide you have the hill, like how steep it'll come in. So this, when it's like this, it'll come in very fast at the end. If you have it like this, it'll come in just gradually over time. If you have like this, it'll come in really fast. And yeah, and basically this is a simple overview of how to do automation clips and put effects on samples inside your song. But now we're gonna move on to the next step, which is, you know, sound effects. Wait, actually, before I get to that, I did want to show you guys this because a lot of people might not know how to do this. But say for instance, you want to have a gradual crescendo and you don't want the song to start out fully max volume like this. You just want it to kind of come in slowly. You can kind of highlight this part, as you know, just make it a unique sample, put it into the mixer track. And you can also make automation clips for pan. This is panning right here. This is left and right. So it might sound weird in your headphones, but that's for panning. And this one is for volume. So you can have it go down like this, so it's nothing at the beginning, and then, you know, it gradually gets louder over time. I thought I'd mention that real quick because I know a lot of people probably gonna ask me about that. And you know, I'll just do a quick one for panning. You know, you can just mess around with it like that, you know. Nothing too serious. This is just a demonstration, as I said. I'll turn this back up so you can hear it. Yeah, and that's how you do a little basic panning and basic volume control. But yeah, on to the next step. All right, now we on to the next step, which is about sound effects. Sound effects you can find anywhere, honestly. You can just Google sound effects or YouTube sound effect drops or hits. There's sites like Epidemic Sounds that I really highly recommend if you want to use different sounds like car alarms and stuff like that, just to make your edit a little bit more, you know, unique. For this, I'm just going to show you guys how I do my drops, which are, like I said, it's pretty simple. So once I do that, once I have my edit and I know like there's going to be edit there, the edit there, now I get my drops. What I usually do is I go to my packs and I have a couple whooshes that I like. If you guys really want me to drop a whoosh kit, I will. If we get to 1,000, I'll put a whoosh at the end of a drop, so it won't be here, it'll be over here. And I usually just line the drop of the whoosh up like that. You can put it in the mixer track too, and then kind of level it and turn it down and turn it up depending on how loud it is. So that sounds pretty good. You could probably turn it down and turn it up a little bit. I'm not really going to a mixing tutorial here, so you know, that can be for something else if you guys really want that. So I'll use this one too for this one. I like to switch out my swooshes, but they're not like the same whoosh over and over. But yeah, I use pretty much the same 5-6 swooshes, then I'll layer them. Once I get those in like that, put it in the mixer track, level it out a little bit.
Past don't care about feelings, but I'm getting rest my condoms. Like fuck that, bitch, fuck.
Yep, and that sounds pretty good. Once I get the whooshes in, I like to layer them with rises. So I have a bunch of rises I like. Like I said, this right here, I got this from Epidemic Sounds. I just put them in the mixer. I don't mix any of my sounds actually. Like I might sometimes put an EQ or a reverb to give a different effect, but most of the time these sounds are already mixed. These are already professionally mixed sounds. So you mostly only have to level them to make sure they're not clipping your master. But that's really about it. You can just kind of mix them and like level them like that. Oh yeah, and you guys didn't know how I did that. There's a stretch feature right here, which so basically when you don't have it on, it just moves the end of the clip out. But when you turn it on, it stretches any sound you have to length, and that can help your sounds kind of fit better. Once I do that, I'll probably put a hit at the end, or the one that's like into the chorus. It was, like I said, I forget these sounds over the years. I have a bunch of sound packs that I just take sounds from. This one I'll put a little reverb on to make it a little bit louder. And yeah, and that's just a basic rundown of how I do it. Touch that. Wish I was never fucking know. Would you trust that? So yeah. hope you guys enjoyed this video of me showing you guys how I do my edits. Those are just examples of what I do. This will be the same process I do throughout the whole song, and I'll have the same sounds and stuff, so I wouldn't change that. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, bro. I really appreciate this 500 subs that y'all got me. I know I haven't been consistent, like I said, but we is gonna be back on the grind. So please hit that sub button, like the video, share it with people you think who want to do song edits in FL Studio. Just a little guide for them to get started. And yeah, I'm out, y'all boys.